Hi, my name is Chuckie Thomas, and I am the ADHD screenwriter. And in this video, I'm going to give you 5 tips on how to move on from your first script that you're emotionally attached to. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Again, I am Chuckie Thomas, and I am the ADHD screenwriter. Before we get started, gotta say all the stuff. Smash the bell, subscribe, comment below, and tell me all about your ADHD struggles, or whatever else you got going on. So in this video, I'm gonna talk about moving on from a first script, which could be tough. Back in 2006, when I completed my first script, Consumed, it took me several years to write something else because I was just way too attached here. And now I'm pretty sure that was an ADHD thing. So we're going to talk about it. Here are 5 tips. Let's go. Okay, you ready for this? Tip number 1, write another script. I know what you're thinking. Why didn't I think of that? I'm telling you this because it's a little harder than it seems. And you're probably saying, yeah, I know that already. The trick is you just got to write something else. I'm not saying you got to write something good. What happened to me is 3 years later or whatever after Consumed, I just started writing something and it was garbage. It was so bad. But the thing is, once it was out on paper and I had the completed script, so that meant I had 2 scripts, my love for them was essentially divided in half, right? We had spent so much time trying to get Consumed done, like actually made, and it was this labor of love and we just couldn't do it, and it was tough. So writing that other script really helped. And again, it was not good. But what it did is it diverted attention away from that first script, and we were able to move on and make other stuff. And then I wrote a 3rd script that was also bad, and then the 4th script was a little bit better, 5th script was even better than that, etc., etc. So seriously, maybe it's a short film, something. Just write down something and get another script going, and I think it's going to help you move on at least a little bit. So maybe writing another script didn't work. Couldn't think of anything to write, or you're just too attached to this first script. And look, I get it, but got to be a little realistic here. The vast majority of scripts ever written, not just yours, not just indie cinema, the vast majority of scripts do not get made into movies. I've been writing for 20 years. I've had so many clients that have all these dreams and aspirations. They hire me to write these great scripts. Guess what? None of them got made. Just saying, we got to be a little realistic here, right? So my tip here is set yourself a hard deadline. You really want to make that first script. And again, I get it. We tried so hard to make Consumed, and we put so much of our heart and soul, sweat and tears and some blood into it, but it didn't happen. So set maybe 6 months to a year on your calendar. And if something hasn't happened with that first script yet, you're done. Move on, write something else. If you're just having trouble moving on and you can't fathom writing anything else, set that timer and make sure you actually live by it. When that timer goes off, don't hit snooze or whatever. Live by that timer and say, all right, I tried, it didn't work, let's move on and write something else. At some point you're going to have to, or you're going to be stuck forever. Tip number 3 is, have you considered a short film? I mentioned my film Consumed I wrote back in 2006, so we tried like crazy to get that thing made. My buddy Dustin Jacobs, however, my co-producer over at HOOTY HOO Productions, he really couldn't let it go. He went over to USC to film school, and we ended up making a short version of Consumed for his thesis film. And I get why he couldn't move on. I mean, the script is amazing because I'm a genius, so I understand. So he really wanted to make it, and we finally did. And the short version, I think, helped both of us move on even more so than we already had. And you're thinking, my script is 120 pages or whatever. How am I supposed to squash it down to a short? Yeah. Consumed was 110 pages or something, and we squished it down to I think it was 15 minutes. So you can do it. What you really have to do is think of what's the core of your story and write another version of it. Don't take a scene, from the feature and just move it over in final draft and say, okay, we're done. It's got to be a full arc, a full short film that somebody can watch and get a full story. It doesn't have to be the full story of your feature. It just has to be a full story for a short film, if you get what I mean. So try that. See if you can write a short version of it. Don't just pull a scene out. Screeners can absolutely tell, and I think it's going to help you move on. So when people say you're too close to a thing, they mean that almost literally, like it's right there in your face. You're thinking about it constantly. You sit down at night, you pretend you're going to edit it some more. You've bothered your best friend too much that they just won't even read it anymore. It's just always in your periphery, right? So you've got to get some space from this thing. My advice here, tip number 4, is to step back from it and get it away from your nose. Put it in a drawer or something, maybe print it out physically and physically put the script in a drawer, close it, maybe lock it if you have to. Give yourself a nice pat on the back that you completed a script, which, by the way, is very hard and you should be proud of yourself for doing it. Most people just talk about writing and don't actually do it, so don't discount yourself there. But get some space away from this thing. Put it away for, let's say, 3 months. How about 3 months? That's not too bad. It seems like a long time maybe, but it's going to fly by. And what's going to happen is you're going to forget a lot of the stuff that's already in the script. You're going to go back and read it and go, I don't remember putting that in there. In some scenes, in some writing, you're going to go, I don't think a human being wrote this. What happened here? And you're going to see it with fresh eyes and see the good and hopefully the bad that you can fix and go back and change. But if you don't have that space, you physically can't see it. So put it away in a drawer, or if you don't want to do that, just lock it or something in your computer and put a password on it or something. I don't know. Do whatever it takes to get away from the thing so you can get some space, back up and see it from a distance and then revisit it later. All right, so tip 5. Guess what it is? That's right, you guessed it. Quit dawdling, go write another script. I feel like this point really speaks to the ADHD people. So you defeated the white page of final draft or Word or whatever you're using. You got through the whole thing. You defeated the second act, which is really tough because there's just a lot of work and going back day after day. You got notes. You got sad because you got notes. You had feedback. You had readings, all this stuff. And you're telling me I have to do this all over again? Yeah. If you want to take this seriously or even as a hobby, I mean, you wouldn't just make one birdhouse and then stop. That doesn't sound like you. That doesn't sound like ADHD people, right? If you actually want to write another script, you should go watch episode 5 of this channel, which is how to start a script. Because I'll be honest, even I have to do that sometimes. Sometimes when I sit down, and I've written 30 feature films and other stuff, and when I sit down, I go, now how do you write a script? So everybody needs it. But what you have to do is go again. You have to dive back in because otherwise you're just going to stop and let it go. And it's like a muscle. The more you use it, the better and stronger it's going to get. But it only works if you keep moving. So be scared all you want. That's fine. Being scared of a white page is fine. Being scared of all the work it's going to take is fine. You got to push through. This is what you want to do. Push through and work through it. And I know you can. So that's it. Those are 5 tips to help you move on from that first script that you're emotionally attached to. If these tips helped, please like and subscribe and watch more videos. If they didn't help, well, comment below and tell us what we can do to help. Maybe you have successfully moved on from your own script and you'd like to help us all out down in the comments. I want to hear from you. And as always, if you're using this video to disassociate and not write, how about you go write and then come back and watch more videos. See you next time. January 6th or whatever. January 6th? Why did I say January 6th? Or ADHD struggles or whatever. So close. Attached to it. I get it. The end. I can't.
Yes! I'm so done.